Hello everyone, it's Jaden. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then hello, how are you? I hope you're doing well. If you haven't been able to tell by my background already, then I am an aquarium hobbyist and I'm a planty guy. So if you like those types of videos, then smash the subscribe button, please. It would really help me out a lot and I would really appreciate it. I post new videos every single week, and in today's video, I'm going to be doing my top 5 easiest aquarium plants to care for. Before I get into the video, for those of you that have noticed, I haven't been posting every single week the last couple of weeks. And that's just because I've had a loss in my family and I haven't really been feeling like myself. So I didn't really want to get in front of a camera and fake being happy when in reality I was just really sad. I'm feeling much more like myself now, so I'm going to be back on posting videos every single week, especially after the much needed break of posting videos weekly. And with that all being said, let's just go ahead and get right into the video. Starting off with number 1 on this list, and for me that's going to be Java moss. And Java moss is probably the most widely used aquarium plant in the hobby. It's very easy to maintain, it's really hard to kill intentionally or even accidentally, and it's a very fast grower. Java moss really likes water temperatures ranging anywhere from 72 to 88 degrees Fahrenheit. Java moss is also more of a ground cover plant, and it likes to attach itself to things. So if you're gonna be using this plant in your aquarium, I highly would recommend to either attach it to a rock or a piece of wood or hardscape and wrap it around with some sewing string or fishing line like that, just so it can get accustomed and attached to whatever surface you want it to be on. Unless, if you don't, then it's going to be floating around the aquarium. It doesn't look quite as nice floating around the aquarium, and it can easily get sucked up into your filter intake and cause clogs and stuff like that. The only downside to this plant that I've noticed is if you don't have really adequate water flow, is that it's very prone to getting algae stuck to it. Hair algae, and especially blackbeard algae. So other than that, it's a really easy aquarium plant, and like I said, the only downside is that if you don't have adequate water flow, then it easily can be overtaken by moss and other types of algae that aren't necessarily ornamental. Number 2 on this list for me is going to be Java ferns. And Java ferns, for those of you who don't know what they are so easy and low maintenance plants. They're very fast growing, and they thrive in low to medium light situations. There's even parts of my aquarium, like the corners over there, that almost get little to zero light, and the Java ferns still thrive. They grow, like I said, very fast. They're very unique looking. Another interesting thing about these plants is they reproduce very quickly. So once you put a mother plant into your aquarium and it gets accustomed to the environment, once it gets accustomed to the environment, the mother plant will start reproducing, and little baby Java ferns will start growing off the leaves of the main plant. And once they get big enough, you can just pluck them off and replant them. So once you have one or a couple of these plants, it's very easy to just get a bunch more. So you don't really have to go out and buy a ton of these because they reproduce so fast. They like a water temperature ranging anywhere from 72 to 77 degrees Fahrenheit. And another thing is, if you guys watch Rachel O'Leary's videos, I've even watched a video of where she's cleaned out a massive intake sponge that's black and receives no light. And there's been Java ferns that have grown in there in 0 light. So they are a very good plant for low-tech tanks that don't have massive lighting systems, especially like my 20-gallon long. They work really well. They reproduce really fast, and it's, like I said, this is another plant to it's really hard to accidentally kill or even intentionally kill. So this is a really good starting plant for beginning aquarium hobbyists, and I would highly recommend the Java fern. Number 3 on this list for me is going to be Amazon swords. Amazon swords come in all varieties, but the 2 most common varieties is going to be Echinodorus blaheri, which is usually shorter with broader leaves, like more round leaves. And then there's another variety, Echinodorus amazonicus, which is longer, thinner leaves. They love water temps ranging from anywhere from 72 to 82 degrees Fahrenheit, and they thrive in moderate to bright light. And for an Amazon sword to thrive, you usually need the tank needs to be lit for 8 to 12 hours. Not everyone can do that, but if you think about it, most tank aquarium lights are on for roughly 8 to 12 hours, sometimes more depending on the needs of your fish and what's in your aquarium. In a low-tech tank, they can be a slower grower, and it takes them a little bit to get accustomed to the environment, but once they do, they start growing at a much faster rate. And like I said, in a lower tech aquarium, they can get up to 12 to 14 inches, and in perfect conditions, they can get much, much larger, anywhere from like 12 to 18 inches. So it's pretty tall. They work a lot better in taller aquariums, like a 20-gallon long or a 29-gallon. So anything bigger than that, you can put them in a smaller aquarium, but they are going to require a lot more maintenance so they don't take over the aquarium because they grow. So they don't grow because they grow so fast, excuse me. They do require just a little bit of maintenance, and it's really easy. A lot of the times you would just need to pluck off the dead or dying leaves, or if they get too tall and wild, you can just trim off the leaves that are getting too crazy. And this is another plant that would be highly recommended for beginners. And again, they are really hard to kill accidentally or intentionally, so that's another good thing about them. Number 4 on this list is going to be hornwort. And let me tell you about hornwort. It is by far the easiest, hands down, the easiest aquarium plant that you could ever possibly use. In my tanks and in my experience, I have never been able to kill it. It likes water temperatures ranging anywhere from 58 to 86 degrees Fahrenheit. So a lot of people have very successfully utilized it in cold water setups and tropical setups. They can thrive in low lighting situations and very intense lighting situations. Although in lower light situations, they will be a little bit less full and a little bit lighter green, but it does work, and I've done it successfully. So they, like I said, they can be used in very low light situations or high intense light situations. One thing that's really interesting about hornwort is it's an aquarium plant that doesn't produce roots, and no matter how hard you try, it's never going to produce roots. What it does is it sucks the nutrients out of the water column through its leaves. They're like little thin, kind of like needle-shaped leaves, but they aren't sharp, and they just suck the nutrients out of the water column through those leaves. A couple good things about this plant is that you can use it as a floating plant just because it sucks nutrients out of the water column and it's not a root feeder. And you can attach it to substrate as well. It just really depends on the kind of aesthetic that you're looking for. In my 20-gallon aquarium behind me, I have some floating and I have some anchored down into the substrate, and both of them work really well. Another thing about this plant is that if you are trying to breed fish that like a lot of plant cover, like guppies or fish that need spawning mops, hornwort works perfectly for that. It really works for a lot of cover just for the babies and for the fish that are breeding, as well as it provides a lot of hiding spots for the fish in your aquarium, so it makes them feel a little bit more comfortable, and you'll get a lot more better behavior out of them, which I really like. Another thing about this plant is that they are so good at sucking nutrients out of the water column that if you're utilizing it with any other plants in your aquarium, that they can suck the nutrients dry. Even if it's a root feeder, they can just suck the aquarium dry of nutrients. So if you are going to be using a lot of hornwort with other aquarium plants, it may be wise to go ahead and put fertilizer for your plants in your aquarium maybe once a week, or depending on what the fertilizer you're using this fertilizer for or how many plants are in your aquarium. But yeah, just keep it in mind that it can suck out all of the nutrients of your tank very quickly. Another thing about this plant is that it's very, very low maintenance. The only thing that you're gonna have to do is get in there and trim it every once in a while so it doesn't get unruly and take over your entire aquarium. Other than that, it's highly, highly recommended for beginning aquarium hobbyists. And by far, it's one of my favorite plants, at least aesthetically. And my fish really, really seem to love it, and my guppies breed like crazy when it's in my aquariums. But not least, number 5 on this list for me is gonna be a pothos. And for those of you who know what a pothos is, or those houseplant people, you'll know that a pothos technically is not a house, or is technically not an aquarium plant. But the one thing with a pothos is that you can root them in your aquarium, and their roots can become very accustomed to water, and their roots will become fully aquatic. A pothos is a vining plant, and it just adds a very, very good aesthetic feel to your aquarium. And not only that, the pothos is extremely efficient at removing nitrates and nitrites from the water column. So much so that if you're using other aquarium plants in your aquarium, it might be good to fertilize every once in a while just so it's not killing off the other plants. A couple of other things besides what I said, it being aesthetic, is that it is kind of brings in the element of above ground plants like house plants and aquatic plants, and the root systems grow very, very rapidly in an aquarium because there's so many nutrients for it. The root system provides a very, very good hiding spot and cover for your fish, so it brings out their more naturalistic behaviors. So you're getting a lot more color and a lot more naturalistic behaviors from your plant. I've used pothos in water down to like 45 degrees all the way up to almost 90-degree water, and it is very, very hardy. It looks amazing, and I'll show a picture of my aquarium. It looks really amazing. The root systems grow very fast. It has very, very great filtration qualities. So if you're doing a little bit less filtration, the pothos is very, very good at oxygenating the water, just like a lot of other aquarium plants, but the roots release oxygenation a lot. They remove a lot of nutrients out of the water column, like I said earlier. I'll show a picture of a pothos that I have in my aquarium, but it's just very, very easy, and I thought I'd throw a curveball in there because I am a houseplant guy. So it works well in aquariums and as a houseplant, but I use it in both. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and end off this video. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It really, really helped me out a lot, and give it a big thumbs up. And until next time, bye.